Usually when I walk in the room, it's just, we all have them, but do we really know what you're seeing and what they tell you about yourself? We were talking about moles, of course. Today we're finding out what's normal, what's not, and when it's time to see a dermatologist.
Board-certified dermatologist Doris Day is here with the answers. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, doctor.
Hi, great to be on with you.
Of course. Oh boy.
This has been a source of stress, because I'm a moldy person. So I look, you look at yourself, you're trying to self-examine all that other stuff. I go to dermatologists every 6 months to make sure. What does a healthy mole look like?
Well, we start out with the stats, right? 1 in 5 people will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. So this is more common than all cancers combined. But the good news is, if you find it early, it's more than 99% curable. So the idea is get those moles checked and then understand what to worry about and when to go to a doctor. So a healthy mole is one that looks the same over time. You can be born with moles, you can be genetically predisposed to moles, but most melanomas don't happen in pre-existing moles. They happen in normal skin. The issue is that if you have a lot of moles and you go to your dermatologist or you're looking at yourself, it's hard to remember, was that always there or is that a new one? And then you have to have that checked. So we have standards that we go by to understand when to worry about a mole, when to remove it, or when we can just watch it.
It's something like, always say, like, keep tracking, like take pictures. Like my phone is just mole pictures. It's very strange.
No, that's smart. It's smart to keep track and take pictures, and there's lots of ways to scan. Now, the thing about scanning that's an issue for me is that people look at their moles and they think, well, I need to worry about this one because it's raised. But actually, raised is not a sign of melanoma or a mole turning bad unless it was always flat and now it becomes raised. But a mole that was always raised really doesn't have a higher risk of becoming melanoma than normal skin. It's really when that mole evolves, when it starts to change, that we need to worry.
Can we talk about the ABCDEs of melanomas?
Exactly. So the ABCDEs was like a simple way to remember when you need to worry, what the red flags are. A stands for asymmetry. So if a mole is no longer symmetric, then that's a red flag. B is for border irregularity. So a mole should have clear borders, and if it's irregular, that's another sign. C is for color variation. A mole should be ideally uniform in color. When it starts to change color, or if it has many colors, or if it's speckled in some spots, that's a red flag. D is the least important one. That's for diameter, and we say larger than a pencil eraser head for people who still remember pencils. But in reality, that's not as important, but something that's growing. E is the most important, and that's evolving. So a mole that's always looked one way and now starts to look different, that's a concern. Now, people come in and they show me things, and sometimes they're not even moles. You can have other things on your things like seborrheic keratoses, which you get more with age, that are completely benign, not even sun-related. In women, they can happen under the breast, they can happen along the scalp, they can happen on the back, and they feel a little warty and rough. And those are not issues. Those are just genetic, but not anything. So people can show me something they're worried about, but that's nothing. And then next to it, there's something that I'm like, what about that one? And like, oh no, it's flat, I'm not worried.
Can I show you something I'm worried about?
You could.
Can I?
I would say this. You could.
You do look worried.
I'm worried. May I?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So we asked the doctor, and I'm going to come over to you.
He'll give you the copay.
So yeah, I'll give you the copay. So here's the thing. Itchy is another thing, because the wintertime the moles get dry and they get itchy. Is that something to worry about? Because that one's real itchy.
Okay, so this one I could see in this light. This one looks like you've had it forever. It does have a little darker in the center, but that's still not a red flag for me because this one looks completely benign to my eye. But I would say this to you. Generally, what you want is you want the dermatologist to look at you in the office, look at the whole body. We have a device called a dermatoscope that we use in the office.
I want one so bad. Christmas, by the way.
A dermatoscope. A dermatoscope is a special device that helps us look through the skin a few layers, and we see patterns of pigment. And this is something that we study. So we can look at the mole. I can look with the dermatoscope, and I can see. Sometimes I see things that are purple and dark. But when I look with the dermatoscope, I could see that it's vascular. It's not even a mole, and it has no risk.
Do you see anything else? Anything else? Really quick. Just look. Just give it a nice once over.
So for these ones, I would say I would want to look with that dermatoscope and with the lighting in my office. to know, also get a history of how long they're there. So I can't
like
tell
the Big
that much
Dipper.
from here. Because now I'm just looking with my naked eye.
Right.
My naked eye gives me an idea. And you are kind of moldy, but not so moldy. But what I see that I love is that you don't have a suntan on your back.
I don't know. I wear full armor when I'm in the pool.
Proud of you.
Thank you so much.
This was very useful. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
And look
So
for
much
your
fun.
toes,
And
too.
your
They said,
big
watch your
brain.
toes.
Between your toes, in the belly button, butt crack, you got behind the ears, in the ears, along the hairline.
Send
All
you a
the fun
copay.
places.
Double. For more information, skincare advice, follow Doris Day on Instagram.